Good morning. Welcome to morning practice with myself, Olivia. How are you doing this morning? Monday morning after quite the weekend of the lunar eclipse energies, which I was feeling enormously Saturday and Sunday. And I hope that you all survived the eclipse energies. It's the combination of the full moon with the transformative power of the eclipse, and that will tend to kick up some stuff for everyone. And where this fell in the sky and where it falls in your life will bring about a lot of personal revelation. So here at morning practice, just to reiterate, because we're at the beginning of the week, I offer this hour-long practice Monday through Thursday. It's a heart-based, heart activation practice to come into relationship with yourself, to cultivate a deeper sense of self-compassion and love and awareness of how you speak to yourself, how you have a relationship with your heart. And we use meditation, we use breath work, we use some movement in order to really access our body, access our incredible instrument of consciousness that our physical body is, sensorial intelligence. And it's a way of taking time on a daily basis to really cultivate a better relationship of listening to oneself in order to navigate the external world with perhaps slightly more love and slightly more ease and slightly more compassion when we learn to have those things with ourselves first. We spent a lot of last week talking about the equinox energies and also the upcoming eclipse, which is now, it was this morning, Pacific Standard Time at midnight. So right on the turning point of this week, which is interesting. And just, there's a lot that was interesting about this eclipse. But the thing that I think that I want to bring up as we go forward, these energies are technically, or we talk about them as having influence for the next 6 months. And the eclipse that we've just been through is so about relationship and so about what is our sense of self in relationship, and how do we make choices that actually truly reflect our sense of self. And knowing, therefore, and really understanding our own inner deep wounding is kind of critical, not kind of, it's critical to understanding the choices that we make. Until we face our shadow, we might find ourselves caught in repeated choices or repeated patterns, repeated behaviors that really aren't ours, but come from either the cultural conditioning that formed us when we were growing up, family patterns, family habits of behavior, things that we were told that we were supposed to be that maybe don't fit who we are. But we also, I think, collectively and personally, build this kind of sense of self where we hide things from ourselves about our less noble behavior, And I think the astrologer I really esteem so much, Heather Ensworth, makes such a great point in her reflections on the eclipse about how have we built a sense of self that we use as a frame to hide our own wounding, to hide our own destructive or narcissistic choices. It's very easy to construct a sense of self and use that as justification to not be accountable, to not turn up. You've probably heard people say to you, "Oh, that's just the way I am. I'm just not like that." It's sort of like this lack of wanting to even cultivate a relationship of being that way rather than taking some accountability. And we all do it. It's here's another reason, self-judgment. And I'm not trying to give us more reasons for self-judgment. It's more about we're using this morning practice as a vehicle to cultivate greater self-awareness. And in doing so, looking at our wounding is probably, at the center of self-awareness, because it is from the place of wounding, it is from kind of our deeper wounds that we will have behavior that we project that is maybe not as positive or useful or, excuse me, or productive, let's say. And it can be difficult to recognize when our wounding is dictating our actions. It can be difficult to recognize that we some maybe don't have people's best interests at heart if we're acting out of a place of wounding, if we're acting out of a place of denial, if we're acting out of a constructed sense of self that we've built on false meaning. Hold on one second. Hi, I'm just doing a yoga video, so I need this space right now. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, as always, we are in Abodanos. Sorry, thank you so much. It's you got one. Okay, there you go. Thank you. This is a donated space, as we know, and it's rare that we get interrupted, but today is one of those days. And gosh, this eclipse has just been full of surprises. I'm like, where was Uranus? It's yeah, if Uranus was aspecting this eclipse at all, there was a lot of, well, that Jupiter Uranus is coming into conjunction, which is just about surprises in general, and that's going to be operational really between now and May 20th, though it's exact on April 20th. But my experience with astrology is that it's sort of more of a general guideline. It's not like a schedule that you receive and on this day this happens. And if you expect it to be that, I would expect to be disappointed. It's more about the energy that is we're working with. So yeah, let's go and drop into a meditation and quiet the energy down. But yeah, I feel like my theme for this week is going to be looking at the sense of self that we've constructed as a means to hide from ourselves our less or our more destructive behavior pattern. And because it's really the awareness of uncovering our wounding and owning that and becoming accountable that we actually get to make the transformational metamorphosis that this kind of energy allows for, and that kind of growth. And how do we knock into that? How do we connect that? So I believe it begins with a really compassionate relationship with yourself. I once had a wonderful sound healing facilitator who would talk about the difficult aspects of self. And we know that we have them, right? And, just this idea of if you could just talk to that part of yourself that maybe isn't saying the best things in the room, and, give them a comfortable seat and a blanket, maybe a cup of tea, and, really say, talk to me. I want to understand why this is important to you, or why acting out, projecting onto others, why does that solve the problem? And maybe in beginning to have that conversation, discovering that there are other other tools in the toolbox that are more loving and more compassionate, especially when we are speaking to ourselves in a loving and compassionate way. So we begin by finding our deeper sense of self. So let's drop into meditation together. Finding a seat, something somewhere you can sit comfortably, tall. Finding a straight spine, you may drop the chin towards the chest, letting the eyes come to close. And just as we come into meditation this morning, noticing the body, noticing the energy, noticing where the mind wants to go, and really being quite loving with that. Like, I completely understand mind. I completely understand thoughts. Of course you want to go there. Of course you want to think about that thing. But for the next period of time, we're going to come into a sense of presence with ourselves. And that thing, that thought, that incident or conversation you want to give your attention to, just stepping away and coming into a greater sense of inner presence. You can begin by really letting your awareness fall to your seat, any point of your body in contact with the floor, with the ground, with whatever you're sitting on. And really, let's take a moment just to feel the weight of this physical vessel sinking towards the ground. Feel the kind of sensuous contact between your body and the ground. What's the quality of the sensation of the support that you're sitting on? What's the quality of the sensation of the floor underneath your shins, wherever your body is meeting the ground? Just notice. As we continue to breathe normally here, you may let your attention and awareness filter up through the body, just noticing the circulation, energy, the life force. And then if you would like to bring your hands in some position of reverence to the heart space, you can. You can let the hands stay in the lap. As you breathe here, just feeling the chest expand and contract underneath the hands if they're there. Feeling the heart center. Feeling the warmth of the palms connecting to the warmth of the heart. Your awareness may shift to the heartbeat. Focus of that very gentle muscle, pumping the blood through the body. Your amazing heart that never stops working. Your heart, which is such a doorway to personal revelation. Your heart is your instrument to love yourself deeper. And in that lies the liberation of all things, of all beings. When we love ourselves more, we set ourselves free. And in doing so, we can set the whole world free and love it. Ka samasta sukino bhavantu. Let's just continue to sit in silence here, feeling the heart space, feeling genuine love for this world, for ourselves. And if there is somebody, a situation, a place that you would like to really call to mind and dedicate the feeling of your heart space toward, allow that to come into focus. Hold it in your heart, hold them in your heart. See them lit up, see the situation lit up by the light of your heart, illuminated, luminous, free. Allowing the breath to deepen, letting the hands fall, coming into prayer so we can take an Om together. You can keep the eyes closed, you're having softly focused. Inhaling. Allowing the eyes to come to gently open. I think I was going to say it's just so lovely that, you know, especially post equinox, the mornings are brighter and lighter again, and really feeling that energy of renewal and regeneration as seen by the light in the sky. And this morning when I left the house, the sky was just beautifully, very subtly illuminated purple. And how those moments of quiet observation of the beauty of the sky and the planet really touch my heart. I just love the morning practice so much because it allows me to really connect to the morning energy that we live amongst. So let's begin with a little bit of pranayama breathing. And I think what we'll do is we'll do a really nice, I think we did this on Thursday, but we'll take a 6-count inhale, 2-count hold, and an 8-count exhale. And I'll count us through inhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, hold 2, exhaling 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hold 2, inhale, hold, exhaling, hold, inhale, hold, exhaling, hold, inhale. You may want to, as we go, hold, Exhaling. Hold. Take another 3 rounds on your own. And as you inhale, hold, and exhale, you may want to explore the sensation of the heart space, explore the quality of the breath, explore the feeling of being full, and then releasing through the heart. I invite you to be curious about the quality of your breath, curious about the quality of sensation as you continue to have awareness of the presence of the breath, of the quality of the inhale and the quality of the exhale. You can let go the counting practice. We'll go over to the mat and meet on the mat. I was going to say 2 blocks can be useful, and blankets for underneath the knees if you feel like you might want support. We'll see how we do when we get there, but we're going to just meet over on the mat in a simple cross-legged position and do some gratitude breathing. So it is a busy Monday morning here on Cortlandt Avenue. There's a lot going on out there, which is, signs of the ongoing opera of life, right? Okay. And then we'll just, as we sit here, let your fingertips touch the ground either side of your hip and just allow your body to move in circles to the left. You may feel a little bit of tension in the neck and shoulders. We do in the morning. We haven't moved for a while. And then you might just take that the other way. And then on your next inhale, we'll bring our arms up overhead. Hands come to prayer. Prayer comes to heart, offering love and gratitude for this incredible body, this heart, this being, this life, what it is to be sentient in the world amongst a sea of consciousness as an aspect expressing as this unique individual. Thank you. And inhaling, our arms overhead, hands come to prayer. Prayer comes to heart. Again, just genuine love and gratitude for every single being on this planet, all the other aspects of consciousness expressing as other individuals. We are all part of the same collective one, all unique expressions on unique life paths. Separation is an illusion. Thank you for all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy, well, free, healthy, wealthy, liberated, abundant beings. And inhaling, arms come overhead, hands come to prayer. Prayer comes to heart. And on this beautiful, beautiful planet, thank you for this beautiful planet. The sustenance, the life force, the beauty, the simple marvels that this earth is. It's a truly extraordinary place to be alive, to be embodied, and to share with all these other incredible souls. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Letting the hands fall, and then just, you could take a nice side stretch to the left, pressing the left hand to the mat, on it beside your left hip, and just reaching the right arm up and over, just allowing yourself to feel the length of the right side body here. And then you're just going to tip it up and over to the other side, pressing in that right hand as you reach in to the left, pressing that left hip point down into your seat. I'm noticing right away I've got a little bit of lower back. I don't know what, something. So I'm going to take the support out from underneath my back, my bum, and come to my back. And so I'm just going to find our feet kind of hip width apart, knees point up, and you're here on your back, and just let your knees windshield wiper a little bit. Let them find a place, and just notice how the radial points around the sacrum, this kind of base of the spine, how that's feeling this morning. Is there constriction? Just allowing yourself, and then you're going to take your right foot and put it on your left heel, and just let that fall to the left. So your right ankle is still on your left heel as your left leg comes down to the floor. And then we're just going to place our hand on our left hand on our right knee and press into that knee. And notice how that affects the lower back, this particular stretch in this particular position. Like, how do you feel this stretching your lower back? And if you like, you can look out over the right arm, which may also increase the stretch. This is what my body is really asking me to do right now, so we're all doing it together. And then you're going to let that go. Look directly above you. Let your hand go, and then just take a deeper twist to the side, so you can even come back up, cross your legs deeper. If you want to do a double cross, eagle legs, you can do that. Just a nice deep cross of the legs, and then letting the legs fall again to the left as you look out over the right, and just really feeling that stretch across your lower back and how it's bringing information to the lower back. And then we'll point that up to the ceiling again. Readjust your hips. Just wiggle your hips a little bit here on the floor. Really find that placement. Maybe windshield wiper the knees just to come back into a sense of neutrality. And then we'll take the left ankle on the right knee. Let the right leg fall to the ground, and using the right hand pressing into the left leg, you can look out over the left hand. And again, really noticing how the pressing here, the stretch here, the position of the body, how that affects your lower back. And you feel the expanse of your upper back sinking into the floor as you feel the stretch in the lower back. So you feel like you've explored that. We'll come back up and just cross the legs more deeply. Left leg over right. If you want to double cross your legs, you can. I don't think that's accessible for me at this point this morning, so I'm just going to leave with the deep cross. It is interesting though, isn't it? How we, especially it comes up in movement, like if there's a greater way to uncover how we set up a false sense of self, I don't know, because movement, when we are using the body, we can be very, when we're learning to do something like dance or even simple yoga, we're really coming from a place where we're mimicking shapes, and let the cross go, the twist go. And again, just windshield wiper the legs back and forth here, just finding some neutrality in your spine. And then we'll lean over to one side. You're going to come to your hands and knees on the mat, tabletop position. I'm going to take my socks off. But I think, and this is why I offer morning practice and why I have spent my life studying movement, is that movement is the best place to study, at least for myself. You can take some cat-cows here, flexing and curving the spine. It's all those hidden patterns. And we have them in our behavior, and feel free to add any intuitive movement. I'm doing some hip circles to the right. You can take hip circles, cat-cow, neck rolls, hip rolls. Just do something that feels really nurturing and nourishing for the body. But it's, if we want to uncover our unconscious behavior patterns, one of the best kind of models for that is looking at how we move our body. And anyone who's studied Feldenkrais or any kind of movement awareness training will know that when you pay really, really close attention to the patterns of movement in your body, you start to observe our more unconscious movement. And that is true of our behavior too. But you have to actually do the work. You have to actually pay attention to the body. And that actually requires movement of the body. It's hard to uncover unconscious patterning if you're not actually embodying it. Is that why we come to Earth? That's a deeper philosophical question. Let's put our hips back into child's pose. I think, yeah. But I do think it's something to think about. And as we're here in child's pose and just letting our hips roll from side to side, letting the forehead roll from side to side. This energy with this eclipse is so ripe for collective and personal healing. It's such a critical choice point in who we want to be in the world, how we want to project ourselves, how we want to be in relationship with others, what's truly working for us. So we're going to come into puppy dog pose. So your hips are going to be right over your knees, pointing up towards the ceiling, the sit bones, and then your forehead and chest are just going to rest towards the mat. I'm going to burrow into my jumper here, and then really pressing the arms forward. You can tent up onto the fingertips, finding yourself in a puppy dog pose here. And drawing in the floating ribs. We'll press back up to a tabletop. I'm going to extend I'm going to mirror you now, so I'm going to change again. I'm going to extend my right leg back. I'm pressing the right foot down, maybe keeping that left shin out to the side, and just lifting the right arm up. And then you might want to just extend the arm overhead. Just feeling the length along the side body here. Notice where you might have any unconscious body habits of clenching the jaw or hiking up the shoulders to the ears. Maybe bring the shoulders down, create a greater sense of space between the neck and the shoulders, a greater sense of length along the right side body. Is there awareness in the edge of your right foot? How does your lower left hip feel supporting this posture, especially if you want to lift that right leg up? And you may even decide you want to catch the foot in the hand and turn the chest towards the ceiling here. Just finding a nice opening balance this morning and let that go. And we'll come back to hands and knees. Inhaling, lifting the tail, lifting the heart, exhaling, curling in. And do that again. Inhale, lift the heart, exhale, curl it in. And then we come back to a neutral spine, kicking back that left leg now. And you just roll on the ball of the foot a little bit and then letting the right shin kick out, bringing the left arm up and over, really feeling the left side of the body lengthen. Allowing the awareness to just move through the different spaces of the body, noticing what's tight, noticing how you can adjust your position to find greater length, greater ease, greater pleasure. Any kind of movement practice is really your own personal exploration ground for finding what works better for you, not as a system of measurement or judgment to berate yourself with, but really actually to find what feels open and expansive for your body. And then you can step into that from a place of empowerment and joy. And it becomes your process and your expression, which is so much better, right? Than trying to be somebody else's expression. Curling up between the shoulder blades. And we're going to just let our hips fall and drop towards the mat, hands pressing up. So you're sort of in a cobra, but really you're just allowing the hips to drop. And then we'll bring the hips back to a child's pose, and then allowing them to come forward and just drop. This is just really bringing some movement again to the lower spine. And then you're just going to come all the way down to the ground. Elbows are going to be underneath the shoulders, forearms in front of you, flat. And imagine you could just draw the heart center through the shoulder girdle here in Sphinx. And as you're here in Sphinx, allow your hips to roll a little bit side to side. Feel how that feels again on the base of the spine. We're really exploring that area around the sacrum this morning, getting into the feeling of what's tight, what needs attention, what needs movement. And sometimes doing that is just like bringing your awareness there through a process of combined movement and stillness. You can let the body come down to the ground, maybe tent up on the fingertips, either side of the chest, and then pressing up, looking over your left shoulder, coming down, and then pressing up and looking over your right shoulder and coming down. And we'll press back up to all fours. Curling the toes under. You're going to come back to a downward dog. Oh, and now these are sort of like socks on my hands. Okay. Okay. And just in your downward dog, just walk it out. You might deeply, deeply bend into that right knee and just press back into the left leg, letting the heel drop. And explore that. Feel how that plays out on your lower back. And then deeply, deeply bend into the left knee, letting the right leg come to straight, letting the right heel drop, just really feeling that stretch on the back of the leg. And just allow yourself to be super generous with yourself here. Really find the pleasure in the stretch. This is your practice. This is your morning practice for your body. How can you make it better for yourself? What feels better for you? And where maybe are we doing things to our bodies unconsciously or maybe judging ourselves that is not serving us? We're going to bring our feet to the top of the mat. The body is going to hang. Ideally, the torso is hanging on the thighs. So take a nice generous bend in your knees. You want to have blocks under your hand here. That can really help you relax into the pose. But just really allowing yourself to experience that. Oh my goodness. So what I'm noticing now that we're in this forward fold, and I've been doing a lot of movement to address tightness in the lower back, but for the first time in this forward fold, I'm feeling tightness in the upper back, which is a different sensation. We're just going to roll up the vertebrae one by one and come to standing. And we're going to extend our arms out and up, reaching up, and just take a side bend to the right here, and a side bend to the left. And again, side bend to the right, and side bend to the left. I know for a while we were doing lunar salutations with the new moon and full moon. And I feel called, because I think the movement works well with this, so to take us through 2 rounds of a lunar salutation. So you're going to come to one side of your yoga mat. If you're looking at me, this is going to be the left side of or the right side of your yoga mat. Standing here, and you step out. Actually, sorry. Inhale, arms come overhead. Pointer fingers point together, pointing up, and you're just going to bend slightly to the left and bend slightly to the right. Again, really feel that extension along the side body as we take those side bends. And we're going to step out to a 5-pointed star. We'll come into Goddess, bending both knees, straightening both legs, pointing the left foot out, paralleling the right foot to the right side of the mat. We're going to come into triangle. You can use a block here under your hand. Just something, again, the more ease, length, and pleasure you can experience in each posture is the correct way to access the pose. Really turning those thighs in towards each other as if the inner thighs could kiss. Bending into the right leg, coming into a runner's lunge, and then straightening the right leg, modified pyramid, bringing the right hip back, and sorry, this is the left leg, sorry. So you're bending here, letting the body drape over the left leg, the left hip is drawing back in space, the right heel is lifted. And then rebending into that knee, using your hands for support, you're going to come down to a side lunge, Skandasana. So you're deeply bent into your left leg, your right leg is extended out. You're going to feel the stretch on the inner right thigh. We're going to come together in Malasana, yoga squat, on the right side of the mat. And then you'll extend out the left leg, coming into your side lunge. Really letting that inner left thigh stretch here for a moment. Using your hands for support, we'll come into a runner's lunge, beaming the heart center forward, and then keeping that back leg, back heel lifted, letting the body drape over the right side. Feeling the right hip moving back in space. And you're going to come into your runner's lunge briefly, spinning your back heel down. And again, as you straighten your leg, we'll come into triangle. Feeling the chest broaden. Feeling the length of the spine as the inner thighs kiss. And then pressing into both feet, come up to a 5-pointed star. Into goddess. Weight goes into the left leg as you bring your body together. And then you'll point to the right. And then you'll point to the left. And pointing up, reaching up and down. And we'll take that once again a little bit more quickly through. Chandra Namaskar was taught by my teacher, Katie Stedman. It was amazing. Stepping out. Just feel your extremities here for a moment before you come into your goddess pose. Feel that for a moment. Straighten everything, come into triangle. And we'll bend into that front knee, finding a runner's lunge. And then straightening the leg, modified pyramid. Bending into left knee. Coming to your yoga squat. Extending that out. And allowing your body to drape in the modified pyramid. Allowing the heel to come down to the ground. Front leg straightens as you come up to your triangle pose. Really feeling that length. Pressing into both feet. 5-pointed star. Goddess. Bring the weight to the left foot. And pressing up. From here, we're just going to let our left hand fall behind our head. And you can take the right hand and guide the elbow behind the head a little bit more. If you want, you can take the bind if it's accessible to your hands. If it feels like that's something that is going to help the back release. And just finding that bind, extending the chest up to the ceiling, and then coming down again. You can let that go. We'll reach up the right arm, let the right hand extend behind the head, using the left hand, really bringing that elbow behind the head, extending that curl on the side body. And if you want to take the bind here, great. This is also a good place to use a strap if you can't quite reach your hands. I can't on this side, but I really need the shoulder twist on my right. So I'm just holding my arm in that position without grabbing the hand. so that I can access that range of muscles on my right shoulder without forcing it to do something that it can't do. That, if you see what I mean, so I'm sort of opening to the idea of moving in that direction without putting my body in a place of injury. And it's so interesting because, you know, we can let that release, extend the arms down, and we're going to come down to sit on the ground, and we're actually going to go straight to our back into a supported bridge. So if you have a block, I highly recommend them. I'm going to take a slightly higher supported bridge today, so you can take it on its lowest setting, on a I can see, you can't quite see that. Lowest setting, medium setting, high setting. I feel like I want the high setting under my hips today. Find the one that's comfortable for you. What we're really trying to do is relax into the support so that the back can stretch in a way that's supported and we're not efforting. So find yourself on your back with your knees pointing up to the ceiling. Hips are about hip width apart. If you have any clothing that might be in the way, you can just take that out of the way. And then pressing your feet into the ground and lifting the hips. You're going to put the support underneath your sacrum and just really make sure that block is steady and supported and not wobbly or at an angle. And just allow the weight of the bowl of your pelvis to really just drop onto the support and really let yourself just drape here. Really feel the bowl of the pelvis really sinking into the support. Feeling the stretch along the front side body. What's so great about having the support here is you're not putting the effort in with your legs. So we're not putting ourselves at risk for unconscious movement patterns in order to achieve a posture. We're allowing the support to help us achieve the posture so that we can relax and notice what we're gripping, what we're holding on to, where we can release a little bit more. Are you holding on to your jaw, etc., etc.? Am I holding on to tension between my shoulder blades, which I just noticed? Yes. And I'm actually going to extend one leg and then the other leg. Really make sure that if your block is on this high setting, that it's very sturdy and stable if you're going to do that. But again, being able to release over the support is going to give you a really nice back stretch without putting yourself at risk for injury. Just allow yourself to really feel yourself melting into the block. And then you're going to bring the feet back underneath the knees, holding, pressing into the feet and lifting the hips, holding the block out to the side and bringing the hips back down. We're going to just go into another recline twist here. So I would just let both knees fall to the left or right, depending on where you're looking, and then bringing the outer leg, in my case, the left leg, that ankle can come right onto the right knee and press that into the mat. And you could just look over the right arm. But as anyone that has ever had an injury knows, it is our unconscious behavior patterns, especially with movement, that can be the protagonists for injury. And it's often when we're expecting or asking our bodies to do something, maybe in a way that's not super supported or is not the healthiest approach. And you're going to bring your knees up and just let them fall to the right, bringing your right ankle on top of your left knee and let that come down to the ground. Your gaze can come out over your left arm. as somebody who has studied movement, and movement is a huge part of my life, I would say that injury is inevitable. I think the human journey and injury is inevitable, loss, grief is inevitable. And we talk about that here, but it's becoming aware of these unconscious movement patterns or unconscious behavior patterns and bringing our attention to them, that we start to make choices where we do not injure ourselves, or we injure ourselves less, or we learn how to not injure ourselves in one way and then discover a new way, which we're doing it. So it's a lot to unpack in one session, but we'll continue to talk about it this week. Letting one leg come out to straight and relax, letting the other leg come out to straight and relax. Hands by the sides, palms face up. Letting the eyes come to close, letting the shoulders sink into the mat, letting the feet and legs sink into the mat, letting it all go. Letting everything go and coming to a total rest posture. You allow yourself to feel the weight of your body distributed. Know that you can return to this resting posture after practice if you feel like you need longer. Just give yourself the nourishment, the rest, the relaxation that your body might need. Feel free to stay in this posture and just keep listening to my voice. If you want to come up to a seat to end the practice together, you're just going to roll to one side gently, keeping the eyes soft or closed. And find your way to a seat. Letting one hand come to the heart, the other over top. Hands can be in Anjali Mudra, hands can stay in the lap. Breathing into your heart, feeling reverence for the heart space, the deep seat of inner knowing, and knowing in that beautiful light in the center of our heart, we are perfect, exactly as we are. You are perfect, exactly as you are. You are beautiful. You are a unique expression of the consciousness of this planet, of this cosmos, of this galaxy, of this universe. You are singular. There's never been anyone like you before, and there won't be anyone like you after. You have unique gifts. And we are so in loving appreciation of you and who you are. And we'll take an Om to end practice together. Thank you for practicing with me this morning. Be kind to yourself, and as we uncover our wounding, our unconscious behavior patterns, as we uncover what we hide from ourselves the most. Be gentle. It's not an opportunity for more judgment or negative self-talk. It is an opportunity for healing, to become the person that you want to be, to make the choice that is more in alignment with the heart and the light and the love of your heart. Such an honor to practice together. Thank you so much for joining me. It's a fun week ahead, and there's lots more to come. We'll keep talking about everything that's happening. I'm just really, really honored that you share this time with me. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody.